sent the email letting him be know in the meeting, so.
I'd like to first of all welcome a new appointment to the commission, Brian Occasion. Brian, why don't you introduce yourself and tell the folks on television a little bit about yourself?
My name is Brian Occasion. I live at 279 Manson Street in Lowell. I'm an attorney with an office in Chelmsford, and it's my honor to serve the city of Lowell.
Well, we want to welcome you. It is definitely a happy occasion to have the third person here, because as you can see, the great ghost is not showed, but hopefully he will be joining us later. Was the meeting posted?
Yes.
Okay, if we could go with the first on the agenda, please.
Commission will now take up applications for special one-day license to sell and dispense alcoholic beverages. For all alcoholic beverages, Geronimo Silva of the Holy Ghost Society at Holy Ghost Park, 65 Village Street. There are 10 events scheduled. Pig Feast is scheduled for Saturday, January 19th, 2008, from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. The Holy Ghost Band Feast, Saturday, January 26th, from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. Mardi Gras weekend, Saturday, February 2nd, from 12 noon to 12 midnight. Also for Sunday, February 3rd, from 12 noon to 12 midnight. There will be a Lowell Youth fundraiser for Saturday, February 9th at 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. There will be a wedding reception for Saturday, February 16th, from 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. And fundraiser Artur Kuna for Saturday, February 23rd, from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. Another fundraiser for Meth Vienna for Saturday, March 1st, from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. The Holy Ghost Queen's Ball for Saturday, March 8th, from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. And the Holy Ghost fundraiser for Saturday, March 15th, from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. Also, we have a beer and wine only application by Allison Kalman of the Merrimack Repertory Theater for Saturday, January 20th, 2008, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. The event is the International Food Night, to be held at the Immaculate Conception Parish Hall at East Merrimack and Fayette Streets.
Okay, if you'd step forward to the podium and introduce yourself for the record, please.
I am Geronimo P. Silva for the Holy Ghost Society. I'm a director.
Thank you.
Allison Kalman, I'm a member of Board of Trustees of Merrimack Repertory Theater, and I'm coordinating the event on the 20th.
Have you been before us before? I don't remember you, Allison. Have you been before us?
No, I have not.
Neither one of you?
This is my second
Okay.
time.
Your first time. Stand together.
This is actually my second time.
Strength. Okay? The speech is very simple. Many of the folks sitting here have heard it. You're going to have the pleasure of hearing it for the first time. This is your, if we grant this license, this is your license. This is not the Immaculate Conception license. This is not Holy Ghost Park license. This is your license. This means you are responsible. You. Nobody else, you. So the board took a stand a number of years ago and became very concerned with people who step forward and sign a document or put their name on a piece of paper with all the best intentions in the world. Raise money for charity, do something for entertainment or what, Holy Ghost, Immaculate Conception, couldn't be too fine of courses. We want you to know that you are responsible. You're the one. You're probably not going to be the bartender. So you've got to make sure whoever is the bartender is a responsible individual. That anybody that steps up there, that if you see people that you think have had too much to drink, or you see people that you believe are sitting here, people say, oh, let him have a sombrero. He's 18, let him have it. That one that says let him have it, he's going to be the first one to call a lawyer if that person gets hurt. And then all of a sudden they say, well, wait a minute, who had the license? And that person will never stand up and say, wait a minute, I argued, and, I was the one that encouraged him. No, they're not going to do that. Because we've become a society of excuses. And so I say these things not to scare you, but to just make you aware of the fact that when we're running these types of things, especially if you're in charge, it seems you're running around, you're trying to get 6 events going at the same time. Unfortunately, many events, people go and have a couple of pops before they get there. So now they walk in and they've already got a couple under their belt. And when they get in trouble, the police officers, the first question the police officers gonna say is, where was the last place you drank? So you have to be aware of saying, you know what, shut him off, shut her off, she's had enough. And if they don't, guess what? You pick up that little piece of paper and you say, close the bar. Close the bar, because it's my license. And I'm not losing my house or getting in trouble for anybody. Close the bar. Do you understand what I've said?
Yes.
Again, I don't say it to scare you, but I think it's important that you understand and how things run. Sometimes the president of the association or the chairman of the club, you know, they think, oh, I'm in charge. No, you're not. Not on my liquor license, you're not. You might be in charge of the club, but as far as that bar goes, I'm in charge. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Any questions at all?
No.
Any questions?
No.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the licenses.
Approve.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We got, next on the agenda. What's this deal? Okay.
Commission will now open a hearing on the application by Elizabeth Silva, doing business as Silva's Mini Market, for a malt beverages and wine packaged goods store license for premises at 40 Perry Street, a retail store space for malt beverages and wine only, approximately 500 square feet, adjacent to the main store, which is approximately 1,960 square feet. A legal notice had been published in the local newspaper on Friday, December 28, 2007. Abutters to be notified by the applicant. Hearing is this afternoon at 3 p.m.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
I'm attorney Stephen Panagiatakis. I represent Elizabeth Silva.
I'm Elizabeth Silva.
Okay.
We're here on the petition or application of Elizabeth Silva, sole proprietor of Silva's Mini Market on Perry Street in the city of Lowell.
Okay.
It's predominantly a mini market that caters to Portuguese and Brazilian clientele. Most of the products are imported from both of those areas and offered to those populations. There is over the years, she's been there over 21 years, her and her husband. She has had customers over the years on numerous occasions come in to buy from her different foodstuffs and then look for the wine or beer of Portugal. She doesn't have a license to sell that, so she has to send them out of her store. She is coming forward today to ask this commission to grant her a license to be able to extend her offerings to this clientele and market base of Portuguese wines and beers. Her current hours of opening are till about 7, 8 o'clock Monday through Saturday, and then she closes 1 o'clock on Sundays. She would not be looking to extend those hours at all, and she's here just petitioning this commission on behalf of herself, certainly, but also because of her clients. You know, it's for convenience purposes. If someone's coming in shopping for Portuguese food, they're having a dinner, and they want a bottle of wine or they want a beer, it certainly makes it much easier for them to be able to buy that at her store. She also is looking to keep a very wide variety, as wide as possible, variety of Portuguese wines and malts on the premises.
Okay. I was looking, do you own all the property around you?
Yes, I do.
There's nobody that abuts your property but your own?
That's right.
correct.
Okay.
There's 30 parking spots, I believe,
Right,
in the parking
I
lot.
noticed on that, but she has no abutters.
No butters.
Okay, all right. It being a public hearing, let's open up the public hearing and we'll start out by, asking for anybody that would like to speak in opposition, If you'd like to speak in opposition, go up to the mic, introduce yourself, give your name and address to the secretary, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Attorney Brian Correa, and I am from Pelham, New Hampshire. I'm here representing Mr. Manuel Correa, who owns Belvedere Wine and Liquors, which is on Concord Street, the next street over from Perry Street, where the Silva Mini Market is located. We're here today to oppose the granting of the beer and wine license to Silva's Market. Basically, first and foremost, based upon Chapter 138, Section 23, of which I'm sure you're familiar, which allows the licensing authority to grant the liquor license, and it's primarily to serve a public need, the common good, to provide an adequate number of places for the public to obtain beverages that are allowed thereunder and covered thereunder. In this instance in particular, the proximity between Belvedere Wine and Liquor to Silva's Market is probably covered under the distance of 100 to 150 feet door to door. The back of the Silva's property extends to Concord Street, and it's clearly visible one from another. In addition, Mr. Correa just recently purchased Belvedere Wine and Liquor on December 17th, and he's a new owner there. And after having made the investment in the city, it's somewhat disconcerting that within such a close proximity, another beer and wine license would be offered. At this time, the sales of Belvedere Wine and Liquor are approximately 65% beer and wine of his overall sales, his percentage of overall sales. And those are the sales records that were compiled by the previous owner. As a result of that, he does carry the same Portuguese wines, liquors that Silva's Mini Market intends to carry. And it would be a severe detriment to the community if another beer and wine wholesaler or retailer was introduced into that community. The only course that would likely come of that would be the likelihood that the beer and wine sales would drop off, not only for this store but for other stores in that surrounding vicinity, which would likely have the owners cause to raise their prices on liquor, which actually would contravene the public good, to make up for those lost sales in the beer and wine area. There's approximately 20 to 22 liquor stores in the city of Lowell. I don't think that there's maybe more than a 5-minute drive between any liquor store from any locale in the city. This issue somewhat came up last year in the election in a different regard as far as the sale of beer and wine in supermarkets. And as a whole, the state's populace determined that that wasn't something they wanted to do. They wanted to leave the beer, wine, and liquor sales to the professionals, the liquor stores, which this city has quite a number of them. And I think that the liquor stores in this city do a very, very good job of serving the public needs in that area, of maintaining sales that are to of-age, legal citizens. And I think that as a professional in that industry, they're better able to control that. That also allows the police department quite a bit of greater monitoring, because there are a fewer number of liquor stores. If beer and wine is allowed at convenience stores, it certainly becomes an issue of the police department's ability to monitor a minor walking out of a convenience store as opposed to walking out of a liquor store. It certainly would raise the eyebrow and alert the police that something amiss may have occurred. In closing, I'd just like to say that we would certainly appreciate the board's decision on this matter if it could be denied.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else to speak in opposition? In opposition? In opposition. That portion of the hearing's closed. Hey, do you want to speak, sir?
I'll speak. My name's Ken Sanders. I'm from Rex Liquors at 68 Mammoth Road. I'm a liquor store owner myself, okay? We already have a hard enough time competing with the Bottle Bill, New Hampshire. There's 22 liquor stores all throughout all of Lowell, okay? I don't feel that we need another liquor store license out there because it's a huge responsibility. I'm a little nervous, so just bear with me.
Take your time.
I mean, it's a really huge responsibility. I mean, I deal with it 7 days a week. You really have to educate your employees, and I do that. And I don't think it's just for anyone that wants to just sell beer and wine, because I don't want to sell cheese and I don't want to sell bread. It's a different kind of market. This is a specialty store. Okay, liquor is a specialty store, and that's how it should be. When Mr. Carrera brought up a year ago, Hannaford's wanted their wine and liquor and whatnot. It's just not the right thing to do. I think a liquor store should be a liquor store, a convenience store should be a convenience store, and a grocery store should be a grocery store. That's it. It's like we don't need another gun store. A liquor store should be a liquor store.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else to speak in opposition? In opposition? In opposition. That portion of the hearings.
My name is January Pereira. I own Churcott Liquors on the corner of Lawrence and Roger Street. And lately, we had some licenses move in before, like it used to be Pioneer Liquors. They moved in. We fought it. They got in. And now we're surrounded. Within 3/10 of a mile, we have five liquor licenses between me and surrounding me. Now, I don't need another one to surround me again. I know everybody has equal rights. I understand that. But, like Mr. Carrera just bought his store, okay? You can throw a rock at each other, okay, and you won't miss.
You don't do that, though, do you?
I know. I can't throw a rock to his store because it'd be too far. I'd have to be a good baseball player. But I don't think that we need another, liquor license in the area. I object to it. That's
Okay.
my opinion. Thank you, sir.
That's why we're here. Anybody else to speak in opposition? Yes.
I'm Elizabeth Correa. I'm Manny Correa's daughter. I think you guys should object this too. He had a chance to buy the store. The store was up for grabs, and he did not. And I don't think you guys should do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
My name's Cesar Correa. I was just here on November 1st. I just currently bought Collins Liquors in downtown Lowell. Like it said, it's a conflicting issue because I myself have a convenience store right behind me. Now, if they get their half liquor license, Kennedy's is going to want one, 7-Eleven's going to want one, then we all say conflicting issue between one another. I got to rack up my liquor prices. It's bad enough nobody wants to pay high liquor prices. You can't make money on beer. You can only make your money on your wine. That's what you mark up on. It's 40-50%. You make you $3-4 on a bottle of wine, and there you go. Liquor, you can only go up on so much. That's why, like he said, being a conflicting issue between one block to another, it's going to cut his sales because he wants to bring the Portuguese people back to his store, which is understood. If I had the chance to do it in downtown Lowell, but I'm around more of American population than I am in Portuguese population, I do the same thing. So I hereby deny the grant too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else to speak in opposition? In opposition? I'm going to go through this one more time.
My name is Saredam. I am from Pacific Liquor on 421 Central Street. I just want to remind that we work so hard, like 7 days a week from 8 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock. It's just good for living. And the next door's a Jerry store on Gorham Street. It is try to get a license for the wine and the beer. We have to close the store, close down, and we just run business for 5 years. We lose like a couple $100,000, and then we have to go back for the work for the company. It's not right. And it's just for living right now. A lot of stores have a competition ready. It's like the person just say, we try to make a quarter, also a bottle of beer, and they try to drop to 10 cents, and we cannot for living no more. So would you please, that adjust that we don't really want to allow to have more license in this city, and is we have a lot response ready, and most every liquor store have a rob like 2-3 times ready, and they just grab like a couple $100, but very hard to respond everybody. And when we call up police, get locked. Tomorrow morning, say hi to me again. That's I'm not happy at all. So it's to have more license. The city have a more worse about the crime. Okay, I have a finished idea. Thank you, sir. Have a nice
Well,
day.
thank you. Anybody else to speak in opposition? In opposition, in opposition. That portion of the hearing is closed. Anybody to speak in favor? In favor? Anybody speak in favor?
My name is Daniel Braga. I live on Concord Street, and I do know these people for a long time. I believe you do know. I was here for about 5 years in a row. And I know them, and I know the family. They're very responsible people. I know for over 20 years. I believe they try to make a living just like everybody else. And I believe that would come handy for the neighbors. I go there almost every day because, well, you need a bread or you need something small. I'm practically every day there. So there's a lot of people around. So I believe that if they could have their license, it would help a lot of the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else to speak in favor? In favor, in favor. That portion of the hearing's closed. Did we do it, Corey?
Yes, nothing.
We did. Okay. Okay.
I do have a couple comments, if I may. Just
If you would, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With respect to the owners of the liquor stores that have gotten up here in opposition, I would say their opposition, for the most part, other than Belvedere wine, is grounded on the broader issue of whether this city should allow beer convenience stores or other types of non-liquor stores to sell beer and wine. And we know that this city has taken the step to allow that in certain circumstances. And that's why we're before you. So really, that opposition, I think, has been decided at the city level. The opposition by Belvedere Wine's a little more acute. It is on the next street over. You do have to go around the block to get to it because you can't go through anybody's backyard. But again, there was one argument made that competition would increase costs. Well, it's always our feeling, I don't know, usually that competition actually brings down costs and is actually good for the consumer, and that's what we feel. Not only is would this competition allow for probably better pricing for consumers, but it also would allow for better convenience for the many people that have go into Silver's mini market over the last 21 years and continue today. She has a very loyal customer base, and again, her hours of opening and closing would be a lot different than your normal liquor store.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I took a ride out and I took a look at the property. Okay. I'm going to prefix my remarks by saying that I probably have been one who has not appreciated beer and wine going into variety stores. I think that package stores do a good job at it, and it's a specialty that they handle. I think we have to take into consideration the specific instances that have evolved. This is not a situation, to me, in looking at the store and the plan here, unless you haven't changed this plan, have you? Okay, she's opening a separate market, if you will. She's not putting the beer and wine in the main store. She's putting the beer and wine in a, well, it looks like an addition. I guess
it's a garage.
It's a garage that you're converting.
Storage.
Okay, that they're converting to a store. It's yes, Massachusetts did do a good job, and I'm going to also prefix my remarks by saying that liquor stores are held to a higher standard. It bothers me that a liquor store that sells to a minor can be closed and the owner lose its entire income for whatever period of time the store is closed, or is licensed for that matter. And a beer and wine store such as this can be closed, but the variety store can remain open. That's something for the legislature to take care of. It's not for this board to take care of. I look at this situation much like, it reminds me, quite honestly, of Chuck's Variety, where we had a gentleman that came in and who has built a brand-new store with two completely separate stores. This is another store. This is not another liquor store. This is a separate store, and it's going to be very limited as to what she can sell in there, strictly beer and wine. I certainly can sympathize with package stores in the area, full package stores, full liquor licenses. I certainly can. There's no two ways about it. But also, it's not this board's position to prevent competition. Unfortunately, free enterprise is what the American society was built on. I look at the area, it looks like a nice store. She owns all the abutting property to it. She certainly is paying her taxes to it. I'm going to leave it to the brand spanking new commissioner here to tell me what he thinks. And then I'll tell you what Ray thought after.
I also took a ride by the store, and it's beautifully maintained, and it has ample parking, and you've been in business for a long time in the city of Lowell, and I see where your hours are not going to be those extended hours. You have very limited hours, and you're dealing with a particular type of service in dealing with the Portuguese community. And I'm sure your attorney has let you know what a serious responsibility that you're taking on by having this license, and he's demonstrated that you are aware of that responsibility. So I see no problem with it right now.
Okay. All right. Ray, when we had this last one, Commissioner Weicker sat here and he said something that made an impression on me, and he said, competition will find its own level. And if you're not doing a good job or something that you see, I would think your store would more work with somebody that went in and bought food, much like the one on Market Street here that has all those specialty wines and stuff, as opposed to a package store. But that being said, I can't judge it. I have to be. I've searched my soul. I took a good look at it. I've taken a ride over. I just don't have a problem with it. I'm going to make a motion to approve the license.
Second that motion.
You going to second it?
Yes.
All right. Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
Has
sir.
to go to Boston.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't come in with, don't let me see you in here. I'm sure your attorney's going to tell you.
Board of Appeals. They usually make you sign on the way out.
Okay, this is, they're going to change managers.
Right.
This is the girl that owns it. This is her boyfriend.
Okay.
So she'll take the license out of her boyfriend's name and put it back in her name. Is that correct? This is the boyfriend. This- Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next on the agenda.
Commission will now take up the application by licensee Brazilian Tropic Inc., doing business as Rio's, the all-alcoholic beverages restaurant licensee at 26 Andover Street, for change of manager from Danilo J. Brack to Kayla S. Falcone of Lowell.
Mr. Secretary, I think the gentleman. Can we just wait 1 second, the gentleman?
Absolutely. Happy New Year. Everything all right? Attorney Leahy all right?
Counselor, did you have a nice Christmas?
Most certainly did, Mr. Chairman. How about
that
you?
makes me feel really good.
Absolutely. I knew you'd be happy to hear that.
I was worried about you.
And I hope, Mr. Chairman, I want to welcome Mr. Occasion to the board, and I
Keep
hope,
your hands in your pockets.
I hope that there's enough money in the budget to at least get him a real nameplate on the front there as soon as possible.
They told us that you had a charge over. They told us you had a charge over our wilderness.
Yeah, that's right, absolutely. Special line in the back door. We'll take care of that. Congratulations, Mr.
Thank you very
Occasion.
much.
Thank you. That's what this one was, huh? Yeah.
Do they need this?
Yeah, these are the people that's not far from you, right?
No,
It's right
they're
across
around
the
the
street,
corner.
yeah.
Anything I need, I usually run to them. Yes, it's pretty close. And it's like, there is no employees. It's just the wife and the husband who works.
Yeah, I know. And she's a tough cookie.
He's tough.
Okay. Next on the agenda, Mr. Secretary.
Just as, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, for the interruption, is the attorney at Liades was proceeding on representing Brazilian Tropic Inc. on a change of manager.
Okay. Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. My name is George Ciolides Jr., 133 Market Street, Lowell, and I'm here today in behalf of Brazilian Tropic. I think we have a very simple proposition. I know Mr. Occasion is
I'll save you a lot of problems. How many times have we been at the restaurant?
Not related to any liquor issues.
That's a very good answer, okay? Okay, so we're going to change the manager of record.
She just became a citizen this past year. That's why she's now eligible.
Very good.
Huh? So
Okay.
she's pretty excited, Mr. Chairman. And that she'd like to
Very
become
good.
the manager.
Make a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Okay, see? Watch his clock.
You just cost me a lot of money, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Happy
Take
New Year
care.
to all.
Good job. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Winful.
They know that.
Thank you, Mr. Winful.
George, you knew that, right? You guys send it to Boston?
The next matter is The next matter, Mr. Chairman, is to do with the series of applications by Codu, Inc. Would you ever take a stand? The gentleman, Mr. Chairman, is Mamadou Gaye?
Mamadou Gaye, yes.
Gouye?
Yeah.
Okay. He is the owner of an existing business at 590 Rogers Street, unit number 3. He is presently licensed to buy and sell old gold, silver, and platinum, also to deal in secondhand articles. He would like to have those 2 licenses amended to a corporation known as Kudu, Inc., for premises at 590 Rogers Street, unit number 3. In addition, he is applying for new licenses for premises at 133 Merrimack Street. Kudu, Inc. is the application is in the corporate name, doing business as Gold Mart for 133 Merrimack, and he would be applying for a old gold, silver, and platinum license, in addition to a secondhand articles license. The other location at 590 Rogers Street, business name is Design Jewelers.
Okay, secondhand, is that treated the same as a pawn shop?
No, because he is, he may purchase somebody's
Electronics.
piece of furniture or a chair.
Electronic, yeah.
I'm sorry?
Like electronic stuff and
I'm not hearing you, sorry.
electronic,
Okay.
like cameras and DVDs.
Yes.
Our concern in the police
Right.
department would be to, I'm concerned, number one, about the items being brought in to be taken in for money, number one. It raises a red flag to me. I'm concerned about the issue of identification from the people that are bringing them in, where with pawn shops, we kind of structured.
Right.
And I'm just concerned we're taking away from the structure with allowing a license like this to go on. What are they mandated to do, Ryan? I'm just concerned that if they don't come in and show a positive ID, he takes a copy of that identification and he submits that with the piece of equipment, the picture of the equipment that he sends, takes in.
Yeah, any licensee who's dealing with secondhand articles, whether it's to accept someone's offer or sale for a camera, or anyone who's dealing with commodities like jewelry that have some value, all those items by city ordinance are to be recorded. The party from whom you're purchasing has to provide a proper identification, positive
Yes.
ID.
Yeah, photo ID.
You need to record or take picture of their...
Take picture of it, color pictures. We do that, and we send it to the police.
Take a picture of the
items.
Items itself.
Yeah.
And daily you submit them to the Lowell Police Department.
Yeah.
That's all. I just want to make sure, as we move on here, that that's being done. That.
Okay, who, I mean, we're
Our
all sitting here
investigator-
saying, you're not sure that it's being done, we're not sure it's being done.
Correct. I'm not sure
Is
at
there
this
a way
point-
that you can check?
Oh, absolutely.
And then maybe next meeting, reassure us that whoever's in charge of this
Yes.
with the department,
Yeah, I'm just
you know,
concerned,
does a
usually with pawn
follow-up.
shops, we're kind of structured.
Right.
And I'm personally unfamiliar with the secondhand licenses, so I'd rather to make sure that the businesses are now up to speed on the requirements that they're
Okay.
doing. And I truly believe they are. You're saying they are, so I have nothing
Yeah.
to do with that. But I would like to check that because I've never dealt with any secondhand article.
how many secondhand dealers have we got licensed?
I would say approximately about 15 that are licensed to secondhand articles.
And
there are approximately about 8 who have license for old gold, silver, and platinum.
Okay.
And there are 3 who are licensed for pawnbroker. Now, in the case of Mr. Gaye, he has 2 licenses, so he would be for old gold, silver, and platinum, and also for secondhand articles for 590 Rogers Street. He is, as I just mentioned, he's looking for additional licensing for a new location, which he's apparently, when do you anticipate opening?
When?
Yes,
In a month or two.
for the location at downtown here at 133 Merrimack.
Okay, if we could kind of follow up on this and make sure that there are, if we've got 15 of these people buying cameras and rings and watches and, you know, I know that, you know, I'm not trying to make more work for the police department, but probably somebody in the vice squad would be, no?
Our investigative services, I will review to make sure that the proper paperwork's being submitted as it stands right now with his businesses. If that's the case.
On the 15 of them. Let's check them all and.
We do.
Make sure,
Yeah,
because.
we'll make sure, yep.
You know, okay, all right. And you don't know this gentleman, I presume? No. Well, that's not the world's worst thing either, is it? Okay. Do they have to put up a bond? No?
No, not required.
Not
The only
required.
bond is required for a pawnbroker,
Yeah,
for $3,000 bond.
okay. All right, based on the fact that, you know, you seem to be able to describe, you know, what you need to do, you know, with taking the pictures and everything, okay? I'm gonna, you know, venture in to make a motion to approve the licenses, both of them, all right? I want you to work with the police department on this to make sure. I think we need a good tracking system for everybody that's in that business, because if you have one that's bad, you know, it's like drugs. It starts to catch on and people know where to unload stuff with no questions. And we don't want to, you know, to start, and I'm not accusing you of that, don't get me wrong.
I know.
I don't know you, and I'm, you know, wondering if I walked into your place, you know, with a gold watch or something, you know, I can have a, you know, phony ID made up with you'd never be able to find me, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
I want to be sure that you're protected as well as the city, all right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to make a motion to approve the licenses and
Second
with a
that motion.
follow-up. His seconded, all in favor, say yes.
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 Thank you.
Now, Mr. Chairman, it's one thing where he's currently operating at 590 Roger Street, and just to amend the existing licenses from the individual licensee to a corporation, which is done, and it's, no additional fee is required. In terms of issuing new licenses for 133 Merrimack Street, any reason to believe that he should have follow-up with the Lowell Police Department in advance, or just?
Oh, I would hope they would. That's what we're just saying, that they're gonna, you know, he's gonna follow up and they're gonna get together. But,
Okay.
you know, I have no objection to issuing the license as long as the standards that he's talking about, you know, are followed, and where
Yes.
the department feels comfortable that, you know, some type of record is being kept. I remember it wasn't that long ago, a number of years ago, a house was robbed here in Lowell, and the police department walked in on them. They were taking the diamond rings apart down on Central Street. Wasn't it Central or one of those little, the store used to be there? And you know, nobody had any record of it. So, I mean, we need to make sure somebody has something.
Right.
Okay. So, Mr. Gaye, I'll be issuing new licenses for 133 Merrimack Street, which would require the proper fees
Okay,
for the balance of the license period, which expires April 30th.
okay. So, we all set?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right?
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the next item on the agenda is to do with an application by Ronald Jeffroy for a used car dealer's license for premises at 6 King Street, it being an open lot approximately 7,000 square feet with a two-story brick building with office and repair area on the first floor. In year 2006, Mr. Jeffroy was a licensee with the city, and his license number for Class 2 was number 586-B. The city of Lowell apparently at some point in the last couple of years had designs, and still does, for those premises at 6 King Street. There was a communication from James Erickson, who was the Urban Renewal Project Manager working with the Division of Planning and Development. It's dated January 7, 2008. and it identifies the fact that Mr. Jeffroy, though his property is now owned by the city of Lowell, he still has rights to access of use of the property as he has been accustomed to doing so in years past. And he would like to have his Class II license reinstated for a period of time yet to be determined, certainly for calendar year 2008, possibly even further, depending on how long it takes for the city to come along with the project of the revitalization in that area, Middlesex Street, Jackson Street area.
Okay, introduce yourself, please.
Ronald Jeffrey.
Okay, Ronnie,
Yep.
this is where the new courthouse is going, right?
I believe across
Okay.
from me. Yep.
And you have had a used car license here before?
Yeah. Yeah, my dad did, and I have for the last, maybe 12 years, I believe.
Okay. And it's, I presume it's zoned for that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Hypothetical situation, just so we don't sit here looking like, we give you a used car license, you get your used car license, you buy your used cars, you put them on the lot.
Right.
In 6 months, excuse me, are you paying the city a X number of dollars for a lease?
I'm not, no.
You're not?
No.
Are you paying taxes on the property?
Right now, I'm not.
What are you considered, a tenant at will?
I believe.
I'm not sure of all the specifics. My understanding was it was a friendly eminent domain taking, and it's part of the consideration for that Mr. Jeffroy was going to be allowed to remain on the property, operate his business until he's moved. I mean, that's my understanding.
Yep.
Okay, now, just the other thing, the only other question I've got is, we issue him a license and he sets up a business. 6 months from now, the city says, we need the property, you gotta move.
Right,
Okay.
and again,
Does he have, are we giving him any rights against the city, or part of that agreement is he just moves?
I don't know, well, he has to move because we took it by eminent domain. However, the city, I believe, again, I haven't seen the agreement, but if they're taking it by eminent domain, they have to move him. I believe the city has to pay for the cost to move you to
Right.
the new location.
Yep.
So the city would pay to move him, and then also, my guess would be when they finally finalize that, they'd come before you to bring a change of address for the license.
Okay.
Correct.
My next stupid question then is, why are you setting up there if the city's gonna pay to move you? Why don't you just go to the new spot and save yourself all that money?
I haven't found another spot yet, sir.
He's already there. My understanding is that he came for his original renewal, and because this information wasn't provided to the License Commission, the application was not approved based on the city owning the property, but none of this information was brought before this commission. I was notified of it either last week or early this week, got the information, and then learned.
So how's he selling cars?
All I can tell is he had a valid license, and that through a miscommunication, this information was not brought forward to this commission originally.
Okay,
If I may.
please.
It was about a year
Would
ago.
would you buy a car from him?
Sorry. Mr. Chairman, I don't have the means to buy a car. How's that? Anyways, point being is that Mr. Jeffroy, about a year ago, last December, was anticipating that he was going to renew his license as he had been accustomed to doing every calendar year. That we have a number of Class II licensees in the city of Lowell, he being one of them, and it hopes that he was going to have the license for the extended period. However, circumstances at that time, and I think there may have been some communication with you by a former employee of the Division of Planning and Development, who's no longer with DPD, who may have communicated to you some idea or thought of having Mr. Jeffroy retain his license, even though he may not have premises to occupy, to conduct the business, depending on how fast the city was going to move on the plans for that area. So for all of calendar year 2007, essentially, Mr. Jeffroy had no license to sell secondhand cars. The fact that he was still occupying the lot, the location, operating business other than the sale of secondhand cars, he had no license for it. Now, whether he was conducting business, I do not know, but I was not even aware that he was still at that location.
Okay.
At the end of December, this '07, Mr. Jeffroy came to the office hoping that he could file an application to renew. At that point, he was coming in with a situation where he had no really credentials to continue to even apply for a license for renewal because he didn't have the license in calendar year 2007. Apparently, this gentleman whose communication you have a copy of, James Erickson, apparently has a better sense of what's happening at that location and doesn't foresee Mr. Jeffroy being denied access to the premises for at least 6 months or more. In the meantime, he's still there. He'd like to get back into the business to sell a few cars, go to the car auction, that type of thing.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Thank you.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Sorry, but I just didn't want you getting there and all of a sudden,
okay.
you go and spend all that money, you get set up, and then all of a sudden somebody comes in and says, what the hell, get out of here.
Yep.
So, I mean,
Okay.
we got enough used car
Appreciate it.
dealers, you know what I mean?
Thank you very much.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Chairman, the next item on the agenda is an application by Aram Arakalian, application for a used car dealer's license Class 2 for premises at 90 Stedman Street, unit number 3. This is an open lot, approximately 23,000 square feet, with garage and office, approximately 1,100 square feet. The plan filed by the applicant indicates or reflects at least 63 vehicles to be stored on the lot. He is working on a matter of having a lease or some type of tendency to operate the business should he get a Class 2 license.
Come up, introduce yourself for the record.
My name is Aram Arakilian. I live in Lowell, 32 Newell Street in Lowell.
You're the original hot dog man.
That's me.
Central Street.
Central Street for 12 years.
East West S.
Okay. Just want to ask the secretary something. Didn't they, this is Stedman, Numo, the rug place is here on the corner. Wasn't there another building in here that was supposed to have a used car license? Do you remember that? Well, I think they have it wrong. Do you remember us being, these are the condos, right?
Condos is up the street toward.
There is a licensee, 16 Stedman Street, LaQuarrie, back in time vehicles. His promotion was that he was going to do specialty cars.
Exactly, okay. It might not focus on, but I don't, hey. Okay, have you ever been in this business before?
Yes, actually, right
You
now.
have?
Yes, I am
Tell
right
us a
now.
little bit about your experience.
Yes, we have plenty of. I do the wholesale, and I have a license in New Hampshire, and but it's difficult without the lot, and we're trying to do both retail and wholesale. So
Okay.
that would definitely help us.
And this garage in the back is for repairs?
We're hoping to do it our own repairs, just our own vehicles, not outside vehicles, just
Okay.
vehicles to service for the warranty purposes and before the sale.
Have we ever had any problems with this guy down on Central Street, selling bad hot dogs or anything? Okay.
Maybe it's overcooked sometimes.
I don't see anything wrong with it. Okay. What do you got, how many cars you gonna have?
63.
We are planning on having as many as 63 vehicles, so if you could put them on there?
That would definitely help me because, like I said, some of that is wholesale and some of it going to retail. I mean, it's private lot in the back, and there's plenty of room in there, plenty. So
Okay. Yeah. No junk cars, no parts.
No, we don't do
You
that,
understand that?
yeah, absolutely.
Lowell has always had a thing about string lights. They don't like string
No.
lights. I don't know, there's a big thing about that. They used to write that on all the licenses, no string lights.
Well, that was in a zoning board of appeals condition.
Oh, was it?
Yes, and the license commission some years ago picked
Adopted
up on
it.
that.
I like string lights. But anyways, I don't see a problem with it.
No problem here.
I don't see a problem with it. You know, we have a lot of used car dealers in Lowell, as you well know. So it's just the same as the folks before you with the package stores and everything. Excuse me. It's like we got a package store on every corner. Depends on how you serve the people is going to determine the business that you do, you know?
Absolutely.
You've got to post a bond with the
Yes.
city. You
Yeah, I already
understand?
got the bar.
Okay.
Just have to transfer.
Motion made. Seconded?
Seconded.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
A lot of cars.
Mr. Chairman, there are communications from the Superintendent of Police, Kenneth LaValle. The first is dated December 18th, 2007. Allegation of misconduct against the licensee, the Under Impact Pub and Lounge, Inc. Emily Kionis is the manager of record. The all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 160 Merrimack Street, Unit A. And the second communication from the superintendent is dated January 7th, 2008. Allegation of misconduct against WKA Investments, LLC, doing business as the Brewery Exchange. Vincent P. Fermini is the manager of record. All alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 201, 205 Cabot Street.
Make a motion to bring them in.
Motion made to bring them in?
Yep. Second?
Seconded.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Bring them in. Send them a letter. Tell them we'd like
Again,
to see.
could that be not for the next meeting, but the next one after that, in case they get counsel and there are witnesses that need to come in, either? Thank you.
Excuse me.
So, Mr. Chairman, that would be not the next meeting, which is January 24th, but the meeting of February 7th?
Yes.
Okay.
How many bars did they do?
I'm not sure, I would have to get, there was quite a few,
Really?
at least two.
Well, no, it would be interesting, though. No, we will have those numbers. It would be. Really? 12 and 2 got caught. Not bad. 2 out of 12 is not bad. We'll have to have a serious talk with them.
Mr. Chairman, there is also communications from Thomas McKay, Backstage Concessions, regarding the upcoming Winterfest 2008, which is scheduled for Friday, February 8th and Saturday, February 9th, 2008. He has requested an application will be filed for the next scheduled meeting for January 24th. There's dates for concession to serve all alcoholic beverages. Friday, February 8th from 6 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. at the Club Celsius, the Nordic nightclub. It's at Arcan Drive. In addition, an all-alcoholic license also for Club Celsius for Friday, February 9th from 12 noon to 12:30 a.m. Last is a concession for beer and wine only for Saturday, February 9th from 6 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. is Club Fahrenheit at the Lowell 5 parking lot, 1 Merrimack Plaza.
Okay.
There was just some concern maybe, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, there's some concern maybe that there may be some amendment to that. I'm not certain, but as it stands right now, there's been no communication other than the communication you have before you now.
Yes, we had a meeting on this issue. Actually, we had a meeting on the Winterfest, and I believe there will be an amendment coming, well, from our side of the house anyways, from the, I would believe, the city side.
It still needs to be put on for a public hearing, right?
Yeah, you can't, I mean, we're not gonna,
That's all. Prior to the public hearing, I think this issue will be resolved. The issue that,
so we have another meeting between now and then?
Well, hopefully we're going to have a quorum for a meeting on January 24th.
I might be ice fishing.
Not today, you won't.
No, that's true. Okay, you know, then just table it.
But I just want you to be aware
Right.
that this is what's before
You know,
you now, and it's
yep.
just a matter of possibly subject to change. Also, there's communication from Mr. McKay regarding an event at the Revolving Museum for February 21st, 2008, from 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is just for beer and wine only. But both of these items will be for public discourse at the next meeting, January 24th.
Well, the one on the 21st is beer and wine at the Revolving is not a problem. I mean,
Well, you need the application. I was just...
Oh, you haven't got an app on that either, okay. Yeah, all right. All right.
And last on the agenda, Mr. Chairman, is that there are annual liquor licenses to date have not been issued. Now, for some, there is reason that they're not been issued. The first is Racer Toppy Inc., doing business as Willie Tops at 731 Lakeview Avenue. This was formerly Rusty G's. The new owner is maybe in the process of refurbishing or coming in compliance with the inspectional services and fire prevention, because there was some issue regarding the second floor of the building, though it is not part of the licensed premises, but it may be a requirement of the fire department that there be sprinkler system in the second floor as well. So that license has not been issued, and that's justifiable.
Are they, but they're not serving either?
Oh, they're not open, is my understanding.
Okay, that's what I need to know.
But I'm just pointing out that there are
Yep.
licenses that have yet to be issued, and the next one is something of concern, I believe. Kilkenny Pub, Inc., doing business as Kilkenny Pub at 660 Rogers Street. My understanding is from people I've spoken to that the business is up and running. The owner of the business is in arrears with taxes with the city of Lowell. Apparently, he has not been able to come to terms with the city on the unpaid taxes. Nonetheless, the business is open, is my understanding, and licenses have not been issued.
Then
One of the
we-
things you should understand, Mr. Chairman, is that what happens is when you come to this license commission to have to be issued the liquor license for the new calendar year, you pay to the city treasurer a bank check for that license fee. At that point, when you enter the city treasurer's office and you approach the clerk, he or she is going to check to see if you have any other outstanding bills owed to the city of Lowell. If that be the case, it is the policy of the city treasurer that you pay the unpaid balance for other outstanding bills before your check for the liquor license, bank check that is, will be accepted. So in the case of Kilkenny's Pub, the gentleman who owns the business is can't quite come to pay the outstanding amount. He's prepared to pay for the liquor license, but he can't So it's kind of like a catch-22. He's ready to go pay the city for the liquor license, but he can't pay the other outstanding money.
Well, the city has in the past, though. I know that the city in the past has made arrangements for people to be able to pay their taxes. I mean, for the sake of not being able to say, you got to sit down and enter into an, yes.
They need to enter into an agreement with the city and then work out a payment plan, but I believe it's a city ordinance, and it may well pass from a special act, but if he doesn't have a license...
He's closed.
Right,
And we make a motion right now for the police department, I'm going to make a motion to suspend his license, with hopefully he will be able to go to the city clerks or the tax and get a, I don't want to take his license.
His license isn't suspended because he didn't have it. It can be closed because he doesn't have a license.
Okay.
But he needs to come in forthwith
So he's closed.
and work. Right, he cannot legally sell alcohol.
Can you take care of that? Today?
Yes.
God forbid somebody gets in an
I
accident or
agree
something,
with
and you don't
you.
have, they'll be screaming at us. Okay,
The other thing is, Mr. Chairman, is, just as a
I just want to, I'm just concerned about, okay, tell me, like, how much time does he have in order to go in and pay his taxes, or enter into an agreement to pay his taxes, and then pay for his license without having to start from square one again? That's what
That's, as Brian was just indicating, that's a matter between the city treasurer and the property owner and any other city official pertaining to the agreement that has to be reached.
Okay, no, okay.
His license, well, what I'm hearing is his license is expired. If he was really acting in good faith, he would have worked out a payment, he would have shut down temporarily, worked out a payment plan. For whatever reason, that didn't happen, so he is operating, you know.
All right. But we are not heartless people either. All I'm trying to say is, if in 90 days, say, let's give him let's use the...
No, he just needs to enter into, he needs to come down tomorrow morning to the treasurer's office or to the law department tax title and work out a payment plan. That's what he needs to do.
And then if he does that, or if in 30 days from now, he gets it put together, and he works out the agreement and signs it, can he then pay for the license and open right back up, or does he stop?
So long as he works out a payment plan, that eliminates his inability to either
To pay for the
renew
li-
or
okay.
get an application.
That's
That
all.
would be then
'Cause I don't
something
want
that
to
you
put
would
Ryan in
address.
the middle, having somebody walk in and say, you know, here, I got it, and you know, have some a hypothetical time. You know, in other words, let's say, you know, they have 90 days. If within 90 days he doesn't work it out, he loses it and has to start from square one again. I would rather not see that happen if I can help it. I would rather give him the opportunity to work
Issues
it
relating
out.
to the license would involve this commission.
Okay, thank you. All right, Brian, sorry, I just didn't want to get...
Okay, there are several other licenses also not been issued. Corporation known as Chun Inc., CHHUON, doing business as Hong Kong Restaurant, formerly the Kamara Restaurant at 308, 310 Westford Street. My understanding is premises is being refurbished.
Yeah, it's closed.
And it's closed, probably won't open possibly maybe end of February or early March.
Okay, now there's a big sign on that building. There's a big restaurant coming. There's a big thing going across, so it's not gonna, I think it's gonna be another business.
Mr. Chairman, just as for the record, there was an application for transfer of the liquor license late last year.
Okay.
That had just been approved, I believe, by local board and by the state by middle end of November.
Okay.
It had been approved. The previous owner had filed a renewal application early in November, but finally, after the local board approval, state approved it probably around the December 1st date.
Okay.
The new owner was prepared to pay the liquor license, but I explained that was not be able to issue that license until the certificate of inspection could be issued.
All right.
And there was some work to be done on the premises, so it's not
That's fine, that's what I needed to know. So he's okay, once he
Uh,
gets done and he gets his inspectional service.
And this will also apply to another corporation known as Wizard Tree Corp., doing business as Blue Tala, 15 County Square, a similar situation. That's the local, that was the Lowell Sun office in County Square. And so they're taking over that location, and they're still doing work in there. I'm sure it'll be soon.
Yep.
It'll be ready to open. However, there are two businesses existing, All of That and More LLC, 167 Market Street, has a beer and wine license for restaurant, and the Fenn's Kitchen license here is Devone Nocum and Fian Nocum. They are mother and daughter at 586 Westford Street. And I did speak to Devone's about 2 weeks ago. She knew of the situation. They've not come in to pay for the license, so I'm not sure if they're offering any beer and wine with their food at this time.
So we could check on those two. Neither one of those should be serving.
I didn't catch the one on All of That and More.
Yeah, that's Matt Mason.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Oh, I know where it is. I'm just curious.
He has a beer and wine restaurant license. I did speak with him as well. Apparently, because of priorities on financial situation, he was not prepared to pay the beer and wine license. I explained to him that he would be advised not to offer any beer and wine if he was serving food. He said, yeah.
Shouldn't they, you know, if they're not going to do it, it should be out of the store. They shouldn't have it on the premises. I mean, we can't afford to have a policeman sitting there.
If they don't have a license, it shouldn't be on the premises.
Right, so if you go there, they're closed, tell them, you know, we'll send somebody back, you know, give them a couple of days and say, somebody will be back Monday to make sure the store, there should be no alcoholic beverages on the premises, and then we don't have to worry about it after that. Don't you think that makes sense?
Yes. They're not like the pub, Kilkenny Pub, where that's what they sell is alcohol. I mean, I just want to make sure that the distinction between these three, because we're closing down the Kilkenny Pub,
Right.
Kilkenny Pub, because that's what they are.
Right.
They're a liquor establishment versus the other places that potentially just sell beer and wine.
Right, but also just on them, my understanding is based on the city ordinance, they shouldn't be able to have any up-to-date license right now if they're in arrears. You know, it wouldn't just be the liquor it should be all of their licenses should be keyed into that.
Really?
And that's absolutely.
Well, then they're closed.
But
They
again,
shouldn't
we'll
be
look into
serving
that, but
food
they
or
need to
anything.
work it out right. All of the
right.
licenses are tied in together.
Yeah, we're not, the other two, though, correct me if I'm wrong, All of That and More does not have any issues about tax.
I know of no tax issue with
Okay.
regard to All of That and More, or for that matter, Fenn's Kitchen at 586 Westford Street.
Yeah, we haven't been told about tax issues there, right?
I
So
don't-
We're just
I-
saying that they didn't come in and renew their licenses. That's all.
Yeah, they filed
That's
the
much
renewals. It's just that I sent them notice, all of the licensees were sent notice the beginning of December, around December 10th, thereabouts, breaking down the fees that would be paid to the city of Lowell. What was paid directly to the city treasurer by way of bank check for the liquor license. That could constitute notice of payment due from the License Commission, because it is in the state law under Chapter 138 that if a licensee, after notice, has failed to pay the fee within 2 weeks, you know, the License Commission can take action to suspend or cancel the license. In any event, so the notices of these licensees have all been sent out, but for just cause, several of them are not ready to open, so there's no reason
Okay.
to be issuing the license. But in the case of Kilkenny Pub, All of That and More, and the Fenn Kitchen, those three should have been issued if they were to remain open for business. If they're not going to be open for business, that's one thing, but if they're to just offer non-alcoholic beverages and food, they still have to have license for common victular, which
Okay.
has not been issued. And the tax issue only relates to Kilkenny's Pub, to my knowledge, at this
Yeah.
point.
All right. Well, what do we do, Brian?
Again, the issue, you only have licenses. Well, take for Kilkenny, is their food license in effect? Do they have a valid one, or did that expire?
All licenses expire as far as alcohol beverages, common victular, entertainment, expired December 31st, 2007.
So they don't have any current licenses?
That's correct, not from the License
They-
Commission.
They
The
can't.
Health Department may have issued permits.
Right. They can't any of the licenses that they get from this commission that are no longer valid, they can't sell or do anything. So it probably can be essentially shut down if they can't sell food and they can't sell drinks.
Right.
You know, as for all of that and more, it would solely be just the liquor. You know, so
Right.
long as everything else is fine, they're fine, but for the alcohol component. And same with the other one, Fenn's Kitchen.
Well, would somebody like, from the code department, go and make sure they've got a
I will make sure that the appropriate people know the issue
Okay.
when we're done here.
okay. So as far as those two, you're just gonna tell them they can't serve, and we'll give them 48 hours or whatever to get it off the premises until they settle it up.
Correct. But there's clearly a distinction
Right.
between the pub versus the others.
Right, there
Right,
is. And
right.
the Kilkenny's Pub definitely has to understand he cannot continue operating business to this point in time until he can come to a resolution with the city of Lowell. The other two businesses, Matt Mason from All of That and More may have made a good faith effort not to offer any beer and wine, but it may still be in his cooler and maybe still under the, in the cooler for that matter. The other business, Fenn's Kitchen, they probably don't have much of a volume to speak of. They probably questioning whether they want to have the license at all.
Well, if
Pay the
they-
fee. But still, they should be made aware that they cannot offer it.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay, anything? Anything else? Anything you want to bring up? Anything you'd like to bring up? No, sir. Anything you'd like to bring up? Mark, is there anything you'd like to add to this? Okay. With that being said, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second.
Motion to adjourn, seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
We're coming home, Benjamin.